All right, guys, I'm back with you again with another trade recap. This is going to be a recap going over Friday's trades that I took, which was two trades that were completely different from each other. And I want to go through each one of those trades pretty quickly and kind of give you my thought process and the reasoning behind it. So the first trade I'm going to go over, which was a simple Lotto trade, which is not normally what I'm doing. I try to stay away from any style of Lotto trades. That's just not my style. But in this case, I was willing to lose. What I put in, what I was willing to lose, basically, right? So when you're thinking of a Lotto trades, you want to make sure you know that you can lose 100% in this trade. So you want to be able to only risk what you're willing to lose. So in this case, it was on the stock gap, which if you weren't aware from Friday, we did have the Supreme Court ruling on the tariffs. So this is pretty news heavy, which can affect the market in any direction. We had no idea what was going to happen, right? It's something you can't predict. This is something that you just have to, you accept the risk you're putting in, and it either goes hero or zero. That's basically what it was, right? So the reason I took this was there was a analyst that posted a flow that was happening in the stock gap, which is a retail stock, right? So this is something that definitely gets affected by tariffs and stuff like that. So the reason I took it was because there was a lot of unusual kind of flow in the stock that was targeting the $29 strike price, right? So if I'll show you what the stock was trading at the time. So basically the $29 strike price was getting a lot of call flow, 131K, 15K, 50K, 50K, 20K. I mean, a lot of money was getting bought on these $29 calls, which is very unusual for a stock like Gap. When it, obviously it only trades at an ADR of, let's see, 3%, right? So this was at the time, let's see, this was trading around 28.19. In order for the stock to get in the money, this would have had to move, almost 5%, right, to get to 29. So definitely unusual, right? Something that you wanted to keep. I was keeping an eye out on because of that. That was definitely sparking my interest in taking some sort of Lotto trade before this happened. And you can see here, I'll show you the exact trade. So it was literally small, right? 100% in literally 5 minutes. I took these 5 minutes before the ruling, was able to put $100 in, and it came back out with 200, right? So super quick, super easy. I was willing to lose $100, right, if it ended up going the opposite way, or if something ended up happening in the news. Literally, if you drop down to the 5 minute, it happened at 10 a.m. I think, or 9 a.m. I think it was 9 a.m. And you can see literally 5 minutes at the open, or 5 minutes before the 9 a.m. candle, a huge volume candle came in right at 9 a.m., which was the ruling, right? That came out with whatever they were gonna end up deciding. And I ended up making 100% in literally one single 5 minute candle, which was this huge. I think this went up 3% in one 5 minute candle, which was pretty ridiculous, right? Pretty massive. So that was it. Literally just taking a flow type of trade, right? Noticing where the big money is going into, and obviously people, there's gonna be people that are behind the scenes that know things, so you just gotta follow sometimes. Obviously, I'm not huge on following big money on flow like this. I normally don't trade like that, but there's some specific times when, if you're willing to take the risk, why not, right? And that's what I did here. Ended up paying off, literally 100% in 5 minutes. So that was the trade on Gap. Pretty simple, just nothing, nothing fancy. It was just literally following what other people were buying, right? And that was that trade. So the next trade I want to go over was the PLTR swing trade, which I don't think I have it set up right here. Let me see. So I ended up taking it, and you can see I had the two things there. Okay, so I ended up taking this on Thursday, so before Friday, and I'll show you the exact play that I took. So I added PLTR $115 puts for 320. So a swing trade. I was looking for multiple day type of trade, but obviously I ended up getting out on Friday for 25%. So nothing simple or nothing big, 25%. This is kind of a market you want to start trading or start trimming a lot faster on your position and a lot heavier on your position. You want to trim, normally I'm trimming, 50% of my position at my first day profit, but in this case, I was trimming 80%, right, and leaving only 20% left, because we're definitely in a choppier market right now, and you have to take those 25% wins a lot quicker, right, and basically run away and don't be greedy right now. So that was what I did. I took some 115 puts for 320 at 205. It was pretty much really close to the high of day, which was why I was willing to take the risk, right? It would have been a 10% loss max if it ended up stopping me out, which is, well worth it for me. And I'll show you the exact look at QQQ, right? So this is what the QQQs look like. Looked like it wanted to break back down here off the ADMA rejection. And then this is what PLTR looked like, one of the weakest stocks in the market, right? This is, hasn't really, from the highs, it's just been making new lows, every single week. So this is something I was willing to take. You can see the huge rejection here off the ADMA yesterday, or that prior day on Wednesday. And then again, it was starting to reject that same ADMA here again. So it looked like, it was, well worth it. If the Qs would have came down and made new lows, this would have followed behind it, right? So that was what I was taking at that time. And then I'll show you the exact reason I took the 25% win and ended up breaking me at break even the rest, right? So you can see I took these on Wednesday or Thursday. So I ended up taking these on Thursday right near the highs. So I ended up taking it right around here. We ended up getting a nice little push to, I don't know, my trading view's been like really tripping lately. It hasn't not been following what I wanted it to do. I want it to come down here, but it's not doing it. I don't know what's wrong with it, but anyways, okay. So let me just do it a different way. So I ended up taking it around here, right near the highs, right off this rejection here. You can see it, rejected from the highs, came back, and it was rejecting again, and it looked like it was more of a, and I can't do that either. So, okay, this is exactly where I took it, right? Ended up kind of going into a drawdown, right? Or not drawdown, it came down more, and it went to like 15% in profits, didn't trim any at all, and it came back up to around break even at the close. So basically, I was swinging these break even, right? There was basically just swinging these, not down or anything and not up anything. And then we ended up having a huge gap down to around like 2% overnight. You can see we gapped up in the pre-market and then ended up selling that entire gap up here in the pre-market. And at the open, we dropped right down to my first day profit, which was down here at the low of day from the prior day. Opened right at that spot, which was up 25%. Contracts juiced a little bit, which was perfect. Ended up trimming 80% of there. And then obviously the rest of the day, we just ended up chopping all day. And then we ended up breaking me back even towards the middle of the day when it came, I think, on this 15-minute candle here. Ended up breaking me even here on the rest. So obviously a risk-free trade. Didn't let this trade go zero, or didn't let the trade go red. So, but still, it looks like this can still play out. But obviously, I'm trying to take risk off on this choppier market and not have my trades go red when they're already 25% green. So those are the trades from Friday. Nothing crazy. We're still in a super choppy market, so there hasn't been a lot of opportunities to be taking anything with some crazy size or any really any kind of good style of trading like like that first month of 2026 when I was posting a lot of trade recaps. There just has not been a lot of opportunities. But obviously there's times like this in the market when, you want to put your foot on the gas and when you want to put your foot on the brake, right? You want to preserve a lot of your capital. So that was a trade recap from Friday, and I'll come back to you again this week, hopefully with some more. Peace out.